My name is Brianna Banks, and welcome to encHERage, a safe and open space where we uplift, empower, and support women through conversation. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of encHERage. If this is your first time here, welcome. You are in the right place today because I've got some good information and a special guest. So today I have Miss Shantel Taylor. She is a nutritionist, entrepreneur. She is a fellow podcaster. She's a wife and she's a mama. So I can't wait to get into this content today. I'm personally a product of her, training and her methods. So I'm super excited to, have her on. And thank you so much, Shantel, for coming and talking with me. This is going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. So let's just jump into it.
Yeah.
Can you kind of just provide a backstory on how you got to where you are today?
Yeah. So, I guess it's been it's coming up on 5 years, but it's been about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I graduated from college with this beautiful, pretty nutrition degree. And I had a job straight out the gate. And if anyone's been in that post-grad struggle bus, you know how hard it is to find a job coming right out of college.
Yes.
Did you think that degree is like your safety net? Like, I've got a degree, give me a job. So I was really, really blessed because I planned ahead and I had something secure before I graduated. And so just about 4 to 6 months into this new job, I hated it so much. I was like, I don't know what I want to do, but this is not it.
Why did you hate it?
I wasn't working with the people that I wanted to work with. I was working with a lot of older white women. Ain't nothing wrong with them. My mom is white, but I couldn't be myself. I couldn't talk how I wanted to talk. They couldn't really talk how they wanted to talk with me. I was a lot younger. So I already kind of had that stigma too, and being the only Black person in the office, it was just very difficult. So I didn't like the environment. I didn't like who I was working with. And I was already doing meal plans on the side. I had been doing that since college.
Okay.
And so I was like, if I can just make enough, like what I'm making here, or like half of what I'm making here, like, that's it.
Yeah.
So I started doing meal plans in the office, actually. I got in trouble a couple of times. Come New Year's, I was just so miserable that I was just like, you know what? And the office had kind of already, like the doctor had already kind of seen that anyway. So I was like, you know what? This is not where I want to be. I'm not coming back. So I quit.
Just like that.
$1 to my name. Rent was due that week. So I took a leap of faith and I said, you know what, I'm going to start my own community. I'm going to help the women I want to help. I felt like there was this huge shortage in the Black community of holistic, nutritionists and care. And so I wanted to bridge that gap. And that is exactly what I did. I bridged the gap. I took off like the first month.
Wow.
It was amazing. And I think it was because there really wasn't a space for that.
Yeah.
And, that's kind of where my story started. Come March, I had my biggest month in my business. I was only 3 months into business, which was really just starting. But I hit this new period or this new phase that I had never experienced before. I was really, really overwhelmed, was overworked. I had no boundaries. If anyone out here is listening who is an entrepreneur and you're starting out, my downfall was not having boundaries. And so I was telling everybody, yes, you could text me anytime, you could email me anytime. I was undercharging like a mother sucker. And we went on vacation. I had gained a lot of weight and we went on vacation with my now husband and came back. And I was like, I don't know what needs to change, but some things got to give. I had fallen into this spell with really unhealthy cycles with my food. And from there, my morning routine was born. And it's been a journey ever since. So I was going to say that's a long story short, but that was probably a really long story too. But that is where it all started.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I totally get it. And I think there are a lot of women out there who can relate to that story of just being in a rut and not knowing how to get out or what to do. And when people think of weight loss, they typically don't associate the mental part of it. And that's why I really love what you talk about, because you focus on that first. So
you have to.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit? Like, why is losing weight a mental thing?
So whenever let's all bring it back to, because it starts with our mental. So it starts with you noticing that you don't like something about your body and you're not ready to do anything about it yet, but you're nitpicking yourself. You don't like how you look in this dress. You don't like how your stomach looks. Oh, I have a fupa. Da, 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 da. And so it begins with this mental war starting, where you're nitpicking yourself every single morning. You're constantly in this negative talk cycle where you eat something and you're beating yourself up for it. This is why you're this size. This is why you're this weight. And then you start to feel guilty, and it's all emotional, and that turns into emotional eating. So it all starts there. Whenever someone has a weight loss goal, and it's something that I had to train my clients out of, because when they join the program, they're ready to jump to the meal plans and the recipes, and they're like, let's go. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We've got to start here first. You cannot sustain a journey as fickle and up and down and as unreliable as weight loss if you are not mentally prepared for that. That is why, that is why so many people fall off. And you hear the stuff like, I'm just not motivated, I'm not consistent enough. It's because they haven't prepared their mindset for it. And so when you haven't uncovered all the limiting beliefs that you have about food, about your ability to actually get to the goal that you have in mind, it's all in vain. You're going to start and be motivated for a couple of weeks, and then you're going to be right back in your cycle. And so the reason that in my program, before we jump to anything food, workout related, we really go through your mindset and the things that you need to absolutely learn to be successful. And then we tackle your routine. And sometimes that's like, it's like giving a kid their medicine. They don't want it, but they need it to be successful. And that's why my clients see such great results too.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, you guys, I'm a product of Miss Shantel's program. And I love it so much because, like she said, you think you're about to start this, nutrition thing, and where's the food? Where's the
food? Where's the workouts? What am I doing?
Yeah, just tell me. And then you think that she's going to say, all right, no carbs. That's like the whole hype right now, keto, all that stuff. But no, it's totally different. She allows you to really eat whatever you want. It's just about how you do it. So can you talk about that a little bit? Why is your program different? Why are you telling people that they can eat whatever they want?
Yeah, because that's the thing, you always hear like a lifestyle change. This has to be a lifestyle change, but you have a coach telling you that this needs to be a lifestyle, but you can't eat any of the foods that you actually like. It's like, no, I'm going to do that for like 6 weeks and then I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm not seeing the results that I want.
Yeah.
And even, people who do keto, about like 60% of the people who transition off of it gain the weight back within a couple of weeks because they haven't learned how to eat the things that they actually like in their day-to-day. And so I started that basically from day one. I went through my own transition where I was having clients be super, super strict with macros and calories, and you could only eat this. And, it did the like low carb thing. And it was miserable. It was miserable for me. It was miserable for them. They weren't sticking to it. And if they did, they were miserable. And when I began to learn that there are no food rules, it's just about making sure that you're eating stuff that your body feels it's best at. And that includes eating the foods you love. And something that I think so many people forget is that food is emotional. We use food to celebrate and to bond. And, it shouldn't be this mental battle every day because you're trying to talk yourself out of eating something that you love. Instead, when you can learn how to eat it more intentionally so that you can still hit your goals, but still enjoy your life too. That's such a big part of it. That is a lifestyle change.
Yeah, you are so right. I mean, and you, like I said, you don't think about that. You're not thinking as soon as, it's a birthday, a graduation, you got the cake and you got the drinks, and then you can't. And then if you're having to limit yourself, you feel like you're isolated. And if you do have it, then you get those feelings of guilt, and it just is a cycle.
And then you begin to think it's either all in or I'm all out. I'm either doing this 100% of the time or I'm not doing it all. And nothing in life is like that. There's always a middle ground, and it's just about finding that middle ground.
Yeah. So I want to go back to something that you said earlier about morning routines.
Yeah.
And you focus a big part of your program on morning routines. Yeah. And people may think, oh, I have a morning routine. I get up 5 minutes before I go to work and brush my teeth and I go, So can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, yeah. So my morning routine changed my life. And whenever I say that, I always think, oh, this sounds so dramatic coming out of my mouth, but it's true. I would not be where I am today without it. And that's business. That is my body. That is my relationship. That is just how I've grown as a person. And I think specifically as women, we have so much going on, and we already tend to feel more obligated to do things for other people. And so we're always putting ourselves on the back burner. We've got kids, we've got partners and husbands and girlfriends and wives, and we've got jobs, and it's a lot. It's just a lot. And so years ago, my now husband, who's my boyfriend then, he had a daughter who I was just beginning to get to know and build a relationship with and mother. And we lived together pretty early on. And so that was a really big transition. And when I was gaining weight and I was an entrepreneur, I had my own business and I was on this journey with my own body and my relationship with food. When we got back from that vacation, I was just like, I don't know what needs to give, but something's got to change. And I didn't jump into my food. I didn't jump into workouts and killing myself there. I was like, I'm just going to start meditating 2 minutes. That 2 minutes felt like an eternity when I first started. It felt like so long. I was like, this is sterile. I can't stay still. I'm itchy all of a sudden. Like I thought I had to be like this perfect still person, but I kept at it. From there, I built onto things. I started journaling. I started doing affirmations. I started doing a daily walk. And from there, I started being more mindful with my food. And it was super unintentional at first.
Yeah.
And then, my daily walk made me want to go work out a little bit more. And then I started teaching my clients this. I was like, hey, this is what I've been doing. I think you should start doing this. This is very early on in my coaching career. I was like, I think you should start doing this. I think it would be really helpful. And then my clients started seeing better results and they started feeling better. And I was like, okay, so there's something there. There's a system there. There's a strategy there. And so I really leaned into that. And for the next 2 years after that, I really just kind of dialed in on what really worked in the morning and what didn't, how much time they really needed and what they didn't. And that's how the top 3 began. That's how, my entire morning routine system began, really. And from my morning routine, I started instilling boundaries in my business and, around my own body and my own food. And I really put in a system to motivate myself. And inspire myself. We always hear, I'm not motivated. And that's because you haven't put in time to motivate yourself. That's not something that just knocks on the door and asks to be let in. You've got to put it there. And I think that's the piece that so many people miss. They wake up and they're rushing to get to work. And then they're rushing to get to lunch break, and then they're rushing to get back to work, and then they're rushing to go pick up their kid from daycare or, do XYZ before they get home. Then they're home, they're exhausted, and they're lounging around until it's time for bed. They might, pick up something on the way home from work to eat, and then it's the same thing the next day.
Yeah.
And then you begin to get the questions like, why am I not motivated? Why am I don't have the body that I want? And why can I not lose weight? And it's like, because you haven't put time in your day to pour into you, to motivate yourself, to inspire yourself, to remind yourself of what you want, to remind yourself of what's possible for your life. That is such a big part of it.
Yeah. I mean, You are preaching this morning because that is so true. I mean,
it's early. This is my time. It's my magic time.
yes. What she's saying, you guys, is really true. So after I took her program, I created a morning routine for myself, and I started this podcast. Okay. Like,
yes.
I have a calendar on my refrigerator that, tells, we have birthdays and things like that, holidays, but then I have my own separate calendar that is, right by my desk, reminding me. It's a visual reminder of what I've set out to do, what I'm going to accomplish. And then, I started little by little, like, at first I was waking up at 7:30, giving me 30 minutes to get ready for work and stuff. But now I wake up probably an hour and a half before that, so that I have my me time, and I have a Pinterest board where I pin my vision, what I want to see manifesting in my life. I spend time doing devotionals in the morning, and I pray to make sure that I get that out of the way. And then, by the time that I've done, and then I, most of the time get a workout in. So by the time that I'm done doing all of that, my mind is set on what I need to do. I've seen my goals. I've seen my vision. I've talked to God, and I have patience to deal with my kids. Go to work.
And then you align all of your actions with that vision that you set in the morning. Yeah. And I think that's also something people miss. It's like, you've got to get clear on what you want out of your life from the start of your day, so that all those mini micro commitments that you're making throughout the day are aligned with that initial vision, with that initial goal. Yeah. Whether that's weight loss or starting a podcast or starting a business, anything.
Yeah. Because if you forget your why, then it's like, well, why, I don't have no reason to do what I'm doing. If you really don't like your job that you have right now, you're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to go to work today. But if you have in your mind, I am working this job to get me to this point, so I can get to this point, to get to this point, then, it makes it easier. It helps it out. Does. So it really does. If you don't have a morning routine, you need to get one.
You need one.
You need to make one. So can you talked about the top three. The top three. Yeah. In the morning routine. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Just for anybody who may want
to Let me give your audience a little nugget. So your top three are the three things that you will commit to doing every single morning, rain or shine, busy or calm, kid wakes up at 5 a.m., jumping in your bed. You're committing to these three things. And the top three touches on the three ways we learn. So visually, auditory, and then action, doing something. And so visually, this could be a Pinterest board. That's what it is for me. And a lot of times when you hear like vision board, people think of like the magazines and the glue sticks, and they're like trying to make this like poster board of something. But it's just, for me, it's a Pinterest board. And I've got it labeled my vision for my life, and I update it every year, and I update it really every day. I just add things to it. But what I do every morning, I scroll that and I remind myself what I want, from the jeans I think I'll look good in, from the house to the dog to everything you could possibly think of. You put it on that board. And I scroll that every morning, and I just remind myself what I want. This could also be, creating a to-do list and starring it. There's science to actually acknowledging that we've accomplished something on our to-do list and makes us more likely to do it again. So it could be starring something at the end of the day or at the start of your day on your to-do list. Oh, I got this done. And then for listening, it could be a podcast episode, listening to this every morning. It could be listening to an audiobook. It could be listening to a devotional. It could be listening to the Calm app, just hearing like soothing sounds. It could be a music playlist that pumps you up. And then action. So doing something, speaking affirmations with your mouth over your day. Is that Yoko? Sorry, if you heard my dog, she's crazy. It could be affirmations, so speaking out of your mouth things that you want to affirm. It could be intention setting, journaling. That is what it is for me. I recommend that every single person on the planet journals. I think you can find out so much about yourself when you just write your thoughts out. You can see how dramatic you are. You can see things that you've missed in your day. You can find the answers to why you emotionally eat in your, like, it's amazing. And then getting outside, getting in a daily walk. making your bed. I mean, these are all cliches, but common sense is not always common practice. And I think if we can stop looking for like the complicated things to do, like the new cool strategies, and we bring it back to the basics and the foundation, so much in our life can change. So basically what you do is you pick something from each one of those categories, whatever it sounds good to you. You can probably find me on Instagram, and I've probably got a story highlight on that too, but you pick 3 things from each category, and then you commit to those. And from that top 3 is where you'll find out how much time you need in your morning. So 10 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, it could be 5 minutes. You know, your top 3 doesn't have to be, you know, a 30-minute ordeal or a 45-minute ordeal. It can be 5 minutes to wake up, do some affirmations, journal a couple of sentences, and listen to a snippet of a podcast, or, you know, read a page of a book. And so you start there, and that is before you do anything. And then after your top 3, you move into your routine, which is just your obligations for the day, working out, getting your kid up ready and out the door for daycare or school, you know, making your lunch for the day, all those other things.
Yeah. That is a gym right there.
Yes.
Okay. So you are not taking notes yet. You need to get the pen and the paper out, because like she said, she's dropping nuggets. Okay. This is so good. And I'm going to say this again, just because I want you guys to know that how much I believe in what she's talking about. I went through the course and I do this every day, guys. You know, this is a part of my daily routine and I stick to it. And I tell you, you know, my daughter just had a birthday. She just turned 1. And, you know, I was running around trying to get things done. And that week I kind of didn't do everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But after that, I went right back into it. Like I thought that, you know, okay, one thing happened and I'm just going to fall off. No, it's kind of like it gets embedded in you.
Yes.
And you feel second nature. Better. Yes. Yes.
And that is something that I just wish so many people would understand, is that just how you know, you always hear like, this is just how I am. This is just how I am. This is how I operate. I'll never be able to wake up early. I'm not a morning person. It's like, no, you haven't trained yourself to be a morning person. Your body is a crazy adaptable machine, and it will do exactly what you tell it to do if you tell it to do it long enough. And so it's just about being consistent in the beginning when it's hard, because pretty soon it'll feel second nature. You know, I always say, like, you've got to get up and go to work because you got to make money, right? You got to walk the dog because you don't want him to poop in the house, right? So it's about these and it feels like micro commitments at first, but pretty soon you just do it. You just walk the dog. You just go to work. It becomes a part of your life. And that's what happens with your morning routine if you stay consistent long enough. It's just something you do. There's no extra thought. There's no try to convincing yourself to do it. It's just something you do.
Yep. And I think another part of it is, like you mentioned, you kind of touched on this earlier. Once you have like a bad day, or maybe you have a bad couple of days, you know, you start to feel guilty and you feel like, I've already messed up, so I'm just going to stop. But you've got to get out of that. Just like, you know, with God, for me, if I mess up or I make a mistake or I did something that I wasn't supposed to, he's always going to accept me back. You know, it's not like one and done kind of thing.
Right.
So you got to think like that when you're in this journey. It's not going to happen overnight. You're going to have bad days, you know, but you've got to know that you owe it to yourself to get back
give
up
yourself
again.
Grace.
Yes.
I mean, you need that.
Right.
You have to, because you didn't get to where you are overnight, you know, wherever that is for you right now, you didn't get here overnight. And so we can't expect to transform overnight either. And falling in love with the journey makes the journey better, because you're not trying to hurry up and get to the finish line. You're enjoying each day for what it is. That's so important.
Yes. And that's something that I personally have to constantly remind myself, because another thing that we do to ourselves is the comparisons. And like you like to say, you got to put your horse blinders or your on.
You got to put your blinders on.
You know, it's your journey and you can only compare yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
I always compare other people's journeys to Instagram. You're always getting the highlight reels. You're never getting someone's real raw. So you see the 30-pound weight loss, you see the amazing business. You see the beautiful aesthetic morning routine, but you don't see all the fumbling that happened to get there. You didn't see the crying because the scale didn't move. You didn't see the day that you had 6 refund requests and it put you in a negative balance that day for your business. You don't see, someone struggling to wake up early. You don't see all those little things that really happen in order to get to that next level. And so that's why I always tell my clients, put your blinders on, focus on your journey, your path, what you're doing. Because when you do, you can cheer on the person next to you and know that it's still coming for you. And that's so important. And your journey, your life is yours. Like, it is yours, and it's uniquely yours, and your body is uniquely yours. And so you can't compare yourself to someone else's journey.
Exactly.
Especially if they started before you. I see that all the time. Like, I have clients in the program because we do win shares every week. And it's like, I felt bad because so many people were sharing their, their 15 pounds and their 30 pounds and their transformations. Like, sis, they've been in here 8 months. You just joined 2 months ago. Give it time,
Yeah, for sure. You got to give yourself grace, and know that it's not going to happen overnight. Anything that's worth having, it's going to take time to get there. It's going to take time. It doesn't
challenge you, it won't change you.
Right. These instant results, they come quickly, but they can leave just as quick as they come. So yeah. This is so good. So I wanted to ask you a little bit, if you don't mind. You mentioned earlier that, you have a daughter, that you was brought into your family. So you have a blended family.
Yes.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about that and what that's like?
Yeah. So we actually, my daughter actually lost her mom just a few months ago, in childbirth. And so we were already a really tight-knit co-parenting community or team. And so we lost Kelsey, in July, right after I got married. And so that in itself has been even a bigger transition because we were really close, but that took a lot of time. So, 5 years ago, I met my husband. We started dating, and we moved very quickly. I think the year that we started dating, we moved in together, and Bexley had just turned 1. And we went through the baby mama, baby daddy drama, but I always stayed a very neutral person. I always was very kind and respectful. I never, got down and dirty and did the back and forth and all that stuff. I even, took her side a lot of times. I was like, I know my husband's name is Otis, and nobody comes to you, Otis. I know a lot of that just ran through your listeners' heads. But I would always, sometimes kind of tell him, like, she's got a point. You need to do that. So after like almost a year of just trying to be very cordial, we became friends, and then we got very, very close. And up until her passing, we talked every single day.
Wow.
But transitioning into a mom was difficult because I didn't become a mom. I chose to be a mom. And I've always looked at my daughter like my daughter from like day one. And so that was difficult to, it was difficult to adjust to because you're going through all the emotions that step parents usually do, which was, this is not my kid, but I feel like it's my kid. I love her like she's my kid, but you feel like there are boundaries that you can't cross. And then you also have to deal with other parties. So you've got the mom, whoever the mom decides to be with, you've got, your partner, your partner's family, then you have your family who's also close. And it's like, it's a lot, but we made it work, and we were all very close, and we all worked together, and we talked every day, and we joked around, and it became effortless. Pretty soon we got into arguments and, disagreements, as you do, but
with anybody.
Yeah, exactly. And it was always very fluffy stuff like, oh, I don't want her to wear this dress. No, I want her to do soccer. I want her to do baseball. So, but we had a beautiful relationship, and we were very, very close. And, but the transition now, being a full-time mom, because Bexley is with us full-time now, and we always split the years before, has been a difficult transition schedule-wise. I really struggled with my routine, adapting it and moving and pivoting what didn't work anymore. but we're healing and we're growing, and that's really all that matters.
Yeah. I'm sorry for your loss. And, I pray that the Lord give you strength through this time. But that was another thing I was going to ask you, because, you are the routine queen.
Yeah.
So, adding a child in the mix full time definitely will throw you off for a little while until you can get your footing. So like, how long would you say it took you to kind of pin it down to get back into the routine of things?
When we first lost Kelsey, I completely, I gave myself whatever I needed. I don't think I did anything in my morning routine for a couple weeks, because I was sleeping in. I was just too sad to get up. I was working in the bed and just napping all day. But I had also never grieved anyone before. It's my very first loss. And so I let myself just feel whatever I needed to, just be however I wanted to be, without any guilt or shame or expectation attached to it. I would say probably 2 or 3 months in, I had a pin in what worked. But it was just little micro things a day. So I would get up. I started with just waking up at my usual time again. And I was like, this is not working. I'm too tired. So I was like, let me just bump it up 10, 20 minutes. So I usually get up. I was getting up at like 4:30. So I was like, 4:30 is not working anymore, because we're full time now and I'm just too tired. And so I bumped it up to 5. So now I get up at 5. And that's what works. I still have time for my top 3. I still have time to get a little bit of work done. And then Bexley gets up and we get her ready for school. So I started with just changing the time that I woke up. And then week by week, I just added something new. And I always tell my clients, build your blocks, don't try to do everything all at once. And Will Smith's Getting in Shape documentary that came out on YouTube a few weeks ago.
I didn't see that.
It's called Best Shape of My Life, where he had gained a lot of weight for a role and he was trying to lose it. And it was very grueling. And he did a lot of stuff that I teach not to do, but he always, he kept saying this reference about his dad. When they were younger, his dad made him and his brother like build a wall for like his business. It was like laying bricks. And he said every day him and his brother would get there and be like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And he would say, stop looking at the wall, stop looking at the wall in its entirety. Your only job today is to take this brick and to lay this brick perfectly. That's it. And I thought that was beautiful, because I always tell my clients, build your blocks. Like, stop looking at the end product and what you got to do and your expectations. Each day, just take your brick and lay that brick. So for me, it was, okay, I'm getting up at a consistent time. Now I need to start journaling. Take another break. Now I'm journaling. Okay, I'm doing that consistently. I need to start getting my daily walk in. I'm missing outside. I take my brick. I lay my brick. So it took about two months. And it still wasn't perfect. I still have my days, but that's where we built from. So like 2 months before I had a pin in it.
I commend you. I applaud you, because, I am also going through grief. I lost both my grandparents.
I'm so sorry.
Recently. So I'm not going to get into that because I might start crying on here.
I just to a point where I could like not well up at all talking about it. So I'm so sorry that you're going through that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a part of life, and we continue to go through it. But this has been so enjoyable. And I just want to thank you again for what you're doing in our community, for helping women. Y'all, she's this is good. So you guys can connect with her. Tell people how they can find you, Shantel.
Yes, you can find me on Instagram. That's where I hang out the most. Shantel Taylor, Shantel, Taylor, Taylor. I'm also a podcaster myself. You can find me on literally wherever you listen to your podcast at Force of Habit. So with Shantel Taylor, and we can hang out and connect a little bit more there.
Yes, you guys, you heard it here, Shantel Taylor. Go follow her on Instagram and go grab that podcast. And I'm late. I've got to get on the podcast train. I'm a podcaster,
Uh-huh.
but don't really listen to other
Oh my
people's
gosh.
podcasts. And it's so
Love
funny,
podcasts.
but I'm like, if I don't want to listen so much that my podcast starts to sound like other people.
Oh yeah.
But I need some good audio information.
Yeah, well, I always say success is something that is just recreated over time and nothing's really original. And it's not about, I felt how you felt too in the beginning, but pretty soon when you get really confident in like what you stand for, what you speak about, you can listen to other people and get what you need from it. And it has nothing to do with your message. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel that. I needed to hear that. Thank you for that. Because I'm going to be listening. Again, I appreciate you so much. And I just have one last question for you.
Yes.
If you could tell someone who is struggling with their weight loss journey, one sentence, one liner, how would you encourage them?
Build your blocks. Pick one thing and commit to that. Just one thing. It could be a daily walk. It could be if you're getting 30 ounces of water, get it in 40. It could be waking up 10 minutes earlier. But pick one thing. Take the pressure off yourself to do it all at once. Pick one thing and stick to that. And then find your momentum, build your momentum from there. But build your blocks. Start with one and build onto it.
All right, y'all. Build your blocks. You heard it. That's what you got to do. Thank you again. I so much enjoyed this. And thank you all for listening. Like I said, please go follow Miss Shantel. I did it anyway. I said I was going to.
It's that little country twang in you. That's okay.
Follow Miss Shantel, and we will be back with another one. Thanks, guys. Bye. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Please share this with someone who may need it, and we hope you leave today feeling encouraged. Until next time.